everyone, and thank you for celebrating New Jersey Makers Day with Teaneck Public Library. Today I'm going to show you how to use our kite kit to make a kite. In your kite kit, you will have a piece of plastic, a long dowel, a short dowel, and two pieces of string. One is going to be very long and one is much shorter. So we're going to start out using our short string. You can put that one aside. We are also going to need a pair of scissors from home, a marker or pen, and some kind of tape. This is a pretty duct tape, but you can use any kind of duct tape, packing tape. You can try using Scotch tape, but I think a stronger tape would work better. So gather up your supplies. We're going to start by using our short string to bind our two dowels together. You're going to want to put the short dowel across the long dowel about a quarter of the way down, so maybe there, and try to center this short dowel so that there's the same amount of length on either side. So hold them together like this. If you have someone to help you, this is a great time to have someone help you by holding these sticks together while you wrap the string around them. You're going to leave a little bit of string loose at the beginning, because then at the end you will use that to tie them together. And try to keep them at right angles. And you're going to loop the string around and across in a figure 8. There's no right way or wrong way, but the more you wind it around in different ways as tightly as possible, the better they will be lashed together. So just keep going around until you've used up most of your string. You again want to have a little bit at the end so that you can tie them together. Just about done here. Let's try going this way. That looks pretty good. Turn it over. Now I'm just going to tie these two pieces of string in a tight knot. You can, if you find that your short dowel is somewhat uneven, you can adjust it a little bit at this point and then tie a double knot very tightly. Now you have your crossbar to make your kite. The next thing you're going to do is create your frame by tying a string from each point of the dowel to the next. We'll go all the way around to form your kite shape. So you're going to take your long string, find the end of it. You can start whichever piece you want, but I like to start at the end, and you can use a piece of your tape to attach it there, like so. Just wrap it around there. It doesn't have to be pretty, you're not going to see this part. Then you're going to go to the next. You're going to want to pull it tight, but not so tight that you make this crooked. You want it to remain straight, that cross piece. So do the best you can to make it tight without pulling too hard. I'm going to use another piece of tape to attach it there. This is another place where it's good to have an extra hand. If you have a grown-up to help you or a friend, that's great. Okay. There, you've attached it there. Now I will go to the next end here. Grab a piece of tape. A little tricky to hook it on there, but fold that tape over. Okay. There we go. And on to the next. And And the last one. Okay. I got the end caught in there. Okay. So you'll find you have still a length of string left at this point. You can just trim that off. You're going to be using that later. So now we have our kite frame. As you can see here, looks like a kite shape. You're halfway there. The next thing you're going to do is take your blue plastic or red plastic or whatever color plastic you have and lay it out flat on your table. Then you're going to lay your kite frame on top of it. You want to make sure that it's completely unfolded. You can just lay it anywhere on there. Now you are going to outline your kite frame. So you can take your marker or pen and you're going to outline it, but you're going to want to outline it a little bit outside of the frame. So let's say an inch or an inch and a half away from your frame. Doesn't have to be perfect. What you're doing is making yourself a line to cut on. This is your pattern for your kite. This is going to be your kite sail. So now that you have your outline, grab your scissors, cut that out real quick. You're going to have some scraps of plastic left over. Just hang on to those because we're going to use some of that later. Try not to waste anything here. One last side. Okay, so lay your frame on top of your sail and get your tape ready because we're going to be folding your sail and attaching it to your frame. You're going to take that little extra piece at the edge, if you center the frame on the sail, and fold it over, and then you're going to want to tape it on there. You want the tape to overlap the edge of the kite because that will help to make it stronger. So I'm just getting a big piece of tape ready here. Put it against the frame and tape down that edge of plastic, and then I'm going to kind of bend it over here to go over the edge. We're going to do that on every side. I did the long side there. Now we're going to do this short side. Fold it over there. Bend it around the edge. Now the next one. There we go. And the last side here. Fold this over. A little tricky. It's almost better if you have more around the edge, a larger border than a shorter one, just because it's easier to fold over more than it is to fold over a tiny amount. Okay, now you have your frame and sail attached. The next thing you can do is add your bridle. Your bridle goes across here, and that's how your string is attached to your kite. Keeps it from getting too wobbly. So you're going to put the string across like this and then back again to measure roughly how much you want. Cut off that piece. Let's see. And you're going to tie it to either side of this cross piece. There you go. Tie the other side. Okay. Now we're also going to add on our tail. Take the remaining plastic and cut some long strips from it. Or if you want to get creative at home, if you have some ribbon, like for gift wrapping, for your hair, you could tie some ribbon on there. If you have some yarn or string that's pretty, you could tie that on there too. I'm just going to use a couple strips of this leftover plastic. You're going to tie it on to the frame at the bottom of the kite here, like this. The tail, aside from being pretty, it actually does serve a purpose, and it helps keep your kite balanced, keeps it from like flipping in the air. You sometimes see them doing that, wavering. If you cut a few pieces and adds a little bit extra weight to the tail, that will help to keep it stable when you're flying it. So I'm just going to add one more piece on here. And then the last thing we have to do is attach our fly line, which is the long piece you have remaining. You're going to tie that on to your bridle that you just created. Here's your bridle. I'm going to tie that right on in the center. It's good to try to get it right in the middle. Tie that on tightly. And now you have your kite. Now you can hold on to your long fly line, run with it, and let it go. If you want your fly line to be longer, feel free to add a piece of string or yarn to the end of it. Tie it right onto the end of the long string we've given you to extend it so that you can fly it higher. And you have your kite. You could also decorate it, although this plastic is fairly thin, so you just want to be gentle with it. If you want to reinforce it a little more, you could put a piece of tape across the center here and across down the frame lines to reinforce it a little bit extra. You can be creative and experiment and see what works best for your kite. Thank you for joining us. See you soon.